Again with the rock music. I got more fitting music than that to play. Yeah, that's a lot better. Anyway, first of all, Beyond Oasis. This was a very late Sega Genesis game that was intended to be Sega's answer to the Legend of Zelda series. And for the most part, a lot of people agree that it definitely did compete pretty well with the Zelda series, especially A Link to the Past. However, it was towards the tail end of the console's life cycle, so a lot of people didn't get to play it. I completely spaced on this one when I did my Genesis retrospective a few years back, so I figured I needed to mention it here and at least talk about its follow-up on the Sega Saturn, The Legend of Oasis. What this is a prequel to Beyond Oasis. You take the role of a young hero who is told by his mentor to go out and become the Spirit King of the Oasis, which requires him to get all the spirits who reside there on his side. It's a pretty shallow plot, all things considered. Once again, it just kind of boils down to, hey kid, you're a hero, go save the world. So again, not a whole lot to talk about out there. It's funny how many games tried to emulate Zelda, but didn't really make an effort to tell an interesting story to go along with it. Now, it's not to say that the plots of Zelda games are anything particularly special either, but, you know, there was at least something going on in A Link to the Past. But anyway, in regards to the presentation here, I mean, just look at it. Look at these character sprites. This reminds me a lot of the Aladdin game on the Genesis, where the character sprites look like 2D cartoons that were sort of digitized into the game. So you got some really fluid animations, some great character designs, and I just love a nice Arabian setting, which is what we have here. Kind of wish the music was a little bit better. If they ever bring the Oasis series back, I hope they get the guy who does the music in the Shantae series to do the soundtrack, because that would be a perfect match. As for the gameplay, it's a basic top-down adventure game for the time. You go around various areas, exploring, solving puzzles, fighting enemies, defeating bosses, and progressively getting stronger with different tools and abilities. If you've played Zelda, you're going to feel right at home, and for the most part, I think it is pretty well polished. However, there is one annoyance with this game, and that's the slight bit of platforming it has. The game does try to make use of depth, but whereas something like A Link to the Past used depth more for the purpose of multi-level dungeons, here they try to use it for platforming, and given the nature of the game, that's a little tricky. It's hard to tell what is above and below you, and that can make navigation a little frustrating at times. But other than that, this is a perfectly serviceable action-adventure game. Though, again, despite how breathtaking these graphics are, it just didn't compare to other games that were coming out at the time. I mean, do you think anyone was talking about this when Ocarina of Time came out? Probably not. And it's a shame too, because this would end up being the last game in the Oasis series, and that is just disappointing because, again, I do like the idea of a Zelda-style game themed to Arabian culture. I just think that's a great idea. But with the Prince of Persia series and Shantae, you kind of don't need something like this. That setting is pretty well represented in gaming, I would say. So, yeah, I would recommend Legend of Oasis, at least to people who are fans of the old-school style of the Zelda games. But that's pretty much going to do it for Legend of Oasis, guys. Tune in tomorrow as we continue on with our retrospective.